So I told you about the thing with the spoiler of my 964. I wasn't happy with the speed at which it extends, and especially with the fact that it only goes down when the car is almost standing still. To change that, I started manipulating the speed signal going to the spoiler control unit with a microcontroller. In the last episodes we built a drivable prototype, and honestly, it works fine. But the hardware solution was built within my own limits. Too many wires, too much soldering, too many possible failure points. A few of you said I should take the next step and create my own PCB. So I did. At least, kind of. Let me explain. I have very little knowledge about designing PCBs. So I did what was necessary. I started researching. I ended up with KiCad, a free software for designing circuit boards. Then there are plenty of websites where you can order PCBs with an almost endless number of options. And the more I learned, the more I realized how much I don't know. One big problem is this. For the current prototype, I was just wiring together finished modules. The ESP32 board, for example, is not just the ESP32 chip. It is also a USB port, voltage regulation, boot circuitry, and all the little components around it that makes it easy to use. Same with the step-down converter. It doesn't just magically turn 12 volts into 5 volts. It has a regulator, capacitors, adjustment circuitry, and it needs to handle heat and voltage changes. Same goes for the relay and the other modules. All of these are made to be useful for many different projects. That's why they exist, and that's why they sell. But if you want to put all of this onto one custom PCB, you have to decide what you actually need. You don't just need to know how to use these modules. You need to understand how they actually work. What components do I need? Where do I source them? Do I need exactly this part, or is there an alternative? What specifications matter? I simply got overwhelmed, so I chickened out. I needed someone to help me. So I went on Fiverr, a platform for freelancers, and I found David. I explained what I wanted to build, and to my surprise, he really picked up the idea and improved it with his own knowledge. So the PCB changed from what I had imagined into something I probably never could have designed myself. A few weeks later, he sent me the files. And honestly, look at this. This PCB brings all the required components together on one board. It doesn't just copy the functionality of my prototype, it also makes it much safer and cleaner for use in a car. And because I already chickened out on the design part, I definitely wanted to build it myself. With a few more tips of David, I ordered the PCBs from JLPCB and around 50 different individual components from LCSC. And now, let's build it. The PCBs arrived just in a small box, and they look really nice. I ordered 10 of them in black, which was clearly the right choice for a PCB that nobody will ever see again. The components came in a much less small box, full of little bags. For example, the ESP32 module, connectors, switches, capacitors, and some very tiny resistors. All packed in tape strips made for automated production equipment, which I obviously don't have. I will place everything by hand. I also ordered this stencil. It's a thin metal sheet with cutouts for all the solder pads. In this printed jig I can align the PCB and the stencil. And then I apply solder paste. Solder paste is basically fluxed mixed with tiny solder particles. When it heats up, the solder melts and connects the components on the pads. When it cools down, hopefully everything is connected. Now the placing begins. With a lot of patience, I place every single component on the board. How do I know what goes where? There is a KiCad extension that lets me quickly check the position of every component. Each bag has its own number, and once a component is placed, I can cross it off. In theory, you can't get it wrong. Some components also have a polarity, so you need to pay attention to orientation, but overall, it's manageable. Once everything is placed, we need to solder it. First, I bought a hot air soldering station and tried to use that, but it didn't go as planned. The airflow from above tends to move the small components around, and with the ESP32 module, for example, which has solder pads underneath, it's hard to get the heat exactly where we need it without overheating everything else. So that board goes into the bin. 2 steps back, new board, place everything again. And this time I use this, a small hot plate for soldering. Just heat it up and now watch this. This is real time, by the way. In less than a minute, the solder paste melts and the result looks almost perfect. For the remaining components, I use a normal soldering iron. Last but not least, I created a housing. Again, I used threaded inserts so everything can be screwed together properly. And there we go. Version 2 of the SSM is done. But how do we connect it to the car? I choose a Molex connector. It locks into the matching connector on the PCB and has a small safety latch so it can't loosen itself. To connect it to the car, we need 6 Molex terminals, 3 bullet style female sockets, 3 OEM Porsche terminals, and of course the wires. To get a proper connection to the factory harness, I designed a small custom connector housing. It bolts together and makes sure nothing can come loose while still keeping everything reversible. We only need that custom connector on the input side of the harness. On the output side, the wires go directly into the original spoiler ECU connector using the OEM Porsche terminals. Just as a reminder, the goal is to place this board between the factory wiring harness and the spoiler control unit. We only need 3 connections from the car: ignition 12 volts, ground and the speed signal. Alright, hardware done. Now let's put some code on the board. I plugged it in, made a few changes because the PCB uses different pins. But other than that, the code can stay exactly the same. But while I was here, I also added one small feature that I noticed was missing in the current prototype. More on that in a minute. So finally, let's install it in the car. Behind the passenger seat, you can see the current prototype. And honestly, I'm very happy to get rid of all those heat shrink connections. The 3 wires from the car harness plug into my custom connector. Once it's closed, nothing should disconnect by itself. Then I unplug the spoiler control unit, carefully open the connector and make sure none of the other wires fall out. I replace the 3 wires from the old prototype with the new ones from the harness. Close the connector again. And now this finally looks proper. Spoiler control unit back in, plug in the SSM, and we are done. That looks much better. And just look at the size difference. With the ignition on, we can turn on Wi-Fi and connect with the phone. Select the Wi-Fi network, open spoiler.local, and here you can see the feature I added. The previous version had 3 settings. The speed at which the spoiler extends, the speed at which it retracts, and a delay time for how long the car has to stay below the retract speed before the spoiler goes down. But there was a catch. If you stop quite quickly, the spoiler could still stay up for a few seconds and only retract after the delay has passed. That's not ideal. So I added an immediate retract speed. If the car goes below that speed, the spoiler retracts without waiting for the delay. I still need to test what value works best. So yeah, case closed. My first own PCB. Kind of. Yes, I skipped the design part and someone with more knowledge helped me a lot. But that's also part of the process. You don't have to know everything yourself. Sometimes the best is knowing where your limits are and asking the right person before you make a mess. See you in the next one.